Greetings and welcome to another excellent World of Tanks video. One of the things I have been meaning to share with you was something that comes to mind, and it'll apply to some of you but not to all of you. It'll depend on your own personal setup and what you like to do. But the thing about this video is that it's the scam of the tier 8 tanks. And the reason I call it a scam is because it's pretty basic. What they do is they entice you to play tier 8 tanks, knowing in fact that that's a horrible deal for you to do that. And what happens is that, you have this tank that's cool, like I have this black double barrel tank. It's a good tank in a tier 8 match, but the problem is tier 8 tanks play 8s, 9s, and 10s. So basically, however way you want to frame the match structure, you're not playing tier 8s hardly at all. You're going to be playing tier 9s and 10s way too much. In fact, you should never play them if you want to be honest about it. The entirety of playing tanks better than yourself without your consultation is itself a criminal endeavor. I'd have no problem if you were going to play a tier 8 tank and it's like, on matchmaking, would you like to earn extra points for playing against tier 9s potentially? And you just, click the box and yes or no. That's how it should be, and that would be the end of it. Same thing, even more experience if you're going to play against possible 10s. Again, click a box, yes or no. It's real simple. It's done. Your matches are going to be fair. The problem is your matches are almost never fair. It's really not complicated, and this goes, the same exact scenario goes down from there. 7, 6, 5, 4, etc. Is that you're going to play guys that are way above you, way beyond your tank. If you're playing a weaker tier, whatever it is, fill in the blank, and you go up against the next tier tank, you're annihilated without, much of a chance. And so tier 8 is where you get the culmination of the annihilations, because basically all you're there to do is feed the egos of tier 10 players who feel so insecure that they have to be top dog all the time. And that's really what it boils down to. And you hear whatever criticism, it's all irrelevant and it's all a lie. Because I've gotten tier 8, 9, and 10 tanks in those matches and have gotten tier 10 MVPs with each. It's like you don't get anything for it. You're going to, if you play those upper tier tank matches and you like it, hey, fine, great, no problem. That's, it's not about you, but the normal guys, they can't do it. They're going to get annihilated. They're not going to score. They don't have a chance. If you're in the wrong type of tank, you're screwed. Bernie had gotten the Italian sniper line. He's like, you wanted to go do that. He goes, you want to go with me? I go, hey, I'll go with you. I'll play artillery. My Russian tier 8 artillery, I'll play that with you. In fact, I'll get that and show it to you. It'll help. Oops, I went too far. There we go. This is my Russian tier 8 SU-14-2. Now the thing that you'll see about this is really hilarious. We were having, our team and Platoon was doing okay. We won quite a few matches. But the problem is we kept being shoved into 9s and 10s. And I got multiple MVPs in those games in 9 matches or 10 matches as well as 8 matches in this tank. And I'm just playing the game. Bernie's just playing the game. He did okay in the 8th matches, but the 9s and 10s, they were just, horrible because that tank isn't any good against 9s or 10s. So, against anyone who's good. Against garbage players, well, it's all right. We're not talking about garbage players. The first rule is always assume that your opponent is going to be a really strong player. And this is where the whole thing becomes a scam. So I played this, did well in it, because artillery can do well at upper tiers. It just won't do as well in an 8 as it would in a 9 or a 10. But you can still have good games. In fact, and when you have teams that are well set up and playing well, that gives artillery extra time, and you can't give artillery guys extra time because they're going to pound your position back into the Stone Age, which is what I did. In fact, on the barrel, as you could see, I got a mark of excellence on this tank without even putting any chasing of the mark matches in there. I was just going with him to help him with his, see how it was going in those matches. And really, those matches were awful for Bernie's sake. For a tier 8 sniper, it's a waste of time. You're going to get annihilated. It just takes the fun right out of it. Believe me. So that's really the thing. The tier 8 is a scam because, you have all these awesome tanks that just look cool that, you pick up from an operation or whatever. You got them out of a card, or in this case, a chest. I'll show you some that are some really cool looking tanks that be, good fun to play. Look at this. This Defender is a really killer looking tank. It's tier 8. I'm not wasting my time. Motherland. Got it out of a chest from the season, I think. I haven't put a guy in there. It's a waste of time. Why would I do that? It's the stupidest thing I could do. Senjutsu barely touched it. Pretty good tank. It's real solid. But it's tier 8. It sucks. You don't want to play it. They're just terrible. You don't really want to play tier 8 matches. Because against 9s and 10s, you're going to get annihilated and it's not fun. Now, I can get away with it a little bit better in the Vanguard because this is a terrific spotting tank. And I mean terrific. And I'm a terrific light tank player, so that's okay. This is one of the, exceptions to the scam. But, you look at all this. Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105. Scorpion, Sniper, pretty good. King Tiger, I haven't even played it. I just got it from an operation or whatever for free. I haven't even played it because it's going to be garbage. I'm sorry, I already know that. It's just uncool. The unskinned Icebreaker, haven't played it. I played the Icebreaker itself because this is actually a pretty good tank. But the fact that you play in tier 10 matches is horrible. Now, I did have a great match in this tank in a tier 10, and I had to hide and cower like a baby because this thing is a junk tank to tier 10s. At the end of the match, I was effective because I was completely undamaged. I mean, I was literally hiding on El Haluf. So it's like, dude, that's how you have to play these tanks to have a game. It's just not worth it to me. If it's worth it to you, that's awesome. And, if you enjoy it, fantastic. Then you have other tanks like this one. This is what is this? Panzer mit 8.8 centimeter. That's what that means, 8.8 centimeters or 88 millimeter gun. So this guy is a tier preferential. This tank, as you can see in the yellow stripe in the upper right-hand corner, it says, hey, it'll play up to tier 9. Okay, this is tier preferential 8. That's not as bad. You only play 8 matches tops or 9 match tops. You don't play 10s. So that's better. And that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. Again, this is a really good, light tank scout spotter. And I had an 8600 spotting game on Prokhorovka in this tank. So this one, is really good, and you can get away with some business. But it's, it's not fun really, because you're going to get crud matches eventually. Same thing, Aguila. This tank is absolutely worthless. Its 600-meter range means you're spotted almost instantly. You cannot add any camouflage at all. 384, that you're stuck with that. It's worthless. And that's the thing, against these other tanks that are worthless. Now, equalizer, artillery, fantastic. You can play this and score. You're just not going to score well in 10s. You're going to score a little bit less well in 9s, and you'll score decent in 8s. It's fine. You can make business in this tank. This is another one. I lucked out one time and got an MVP in a tier 10 match in this Demolisher. But that was the exception to the rule, which is why I don't play this tank hardly much at all. So it's stuff like that. And you have, great stuff. Well, the Patriot, very good tank. But you're going to get annihilated in a tier 10 match. But it looks awesome. In tier 8, it's great. It's just that's just the thing. Here's another great one. Now, the Vengeance, tier 8. I penetrated tier 10 tanks with this tank. This tank is actually way better against 10s than most 8s. For some reason, I don't know why, it doesn't matter. I scored in it. That's what matters. So it's one of those things. Some tanks are good for you because of your skill set, like artillery for me or light tanks for me. This tank works really well. I'm not a medium tank expert. If you're not a medium tank expert, you're in bad shape in a tier 10 medium. Tier 8 medium in a tier 10 match. That's just the way it is. This is another great tier preferential tank. Not this one, which that's a great tank too. This dude here, the Freedom, the Super Pershing is what this is. Super Pershing with a paint job. And this thing is awesome for a tier preferential tank. You can have legit matches against 9s, but it's still bogus. You got to play like nearly perfect, and it's like that's not the standard that you should be looking to do to have a decent game. You're not going to have any fun, but you could have a decent game, and that's one of the things that's a scam about it. There's no fun to be had at tier 8. It really isn't. It's all about you're fighting tier 10s and 9s. It's ridiculous. This is a tier 8 I got out of Tanker Rewards card. I'm never going to play it. This is a very good tier 8. I actually killed a tier 10 in this tank. But, it's an exception to the rule. We had a decent game. So it's one of those things. Vipera, what is that? Tier 8. That's the one that Bernie was using against the guys. It's just, the matchups are terrible, man, and that's the problem. Brownie had one of the greatest games I've ever seen in tier 10 when he crushed a Kronwagen in this tank. Dude, he was awesome in that game. It was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I was in artillery. I did a very good job. He was in this Emil 1951, and he was just awesome. He was our MVP and speaks for itself. So this is just the basic thing, the scam of the tier 8 tanks, because it is a scam, and it's a giant scam. But you have stuff here like this is a Halloween tank. This is worthless to me. I'm not playing this. I don't play any of these tanks. They're stupid. That's just the way it is for me. So I get them simply for seasons. If they show up in there and you catch them in a war chest, bammo, you get gold refund. Let me show you a real quick one. Here's my British tanks. That's Frenchy. Nope. There we go. This is the one. This is fantastic. A couple of seasons ago, about 2 or 3 seasons ago, I got this G-Sor out of the Sergeant's box that was stage 69. Stage 90 comes along. You got a private and a general. Open the private, nothing. Open the general. I got this exact tank. So this is within 3 or 4 days of each other. Didn't have this tank. Bammo, Sergeant's chest. Got it. About 3 days or 4 days later, bammo, General's chest, got it, 9,000 gold refund. Just like that. Bing, bang, boom. Out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it to get either time, but I got 2 of them. That was awesome. So I took that 9,000 gold and bought that Stormer 30, which was like 14,000. So I paid $5,000 for it. I'm good with that. That's the point for me of tier 8 tanks. I pick them up so that whenever you get your war chest from a long haul or a war chest from the season, you get potential free gold refunds for those tanks. That's it. These aren't fun. Sorry. Okay, Equalizer is kind of fun for me. Vanguard is a little bit fun. But as a general rule, the overwhelming majority, they're not fun. I don't play them for fun. I mean, look, here you go. Charlemagne got that one. Operation. Never going to play it. Eradicator, pretty good. But when you fight 9s and 10s, it's worthless. It's absolute junk. This Paladin is a really good tank in tier 8 matches. But in 9s and 10s, you got to cower. It's just terrible. But this thing looks fantastic. And that's the thing. I mean, this just looks fantastic. I love this lion and unicorn icons on the shield armor for the turret. This is a great British tier 8 tank. Fun to play in a tier 8 match. But, that's the dealio. So, really doesn't have to be a long video. You see why. So, we're done. Hope you enjoy it. Most really, you will learn from it more so than enjoy this, I guess. So I hope you learn from it. And if you did, please tell your friends. That way they have a chance to learn, possibly like, and possibly subscribe as well. Because I'm trying to tell you guys, don't buy tier 8 tanks. They're no good. That's my opinion. You can do whatever you want. I'm just here to give you advice. Save yourself some frustration. Because you're going to get reamed. But that's up to you. I've done my duty. I've warned you of the dangers of the tier 8 tanks. So barring the tanks that you enjoy playing, etc., I just would stay away from them personally. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you would. Help spread the word. And it was a real pleasure having you here. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. As always, thanks for watching. Because I'm trying to help people have the most fun they can have. Go play something else that's, lower tier, has more fun. The other thing is you're going to get more game points and rewards when you play a 5 match or whatever. The matches will last less time. You'll end up getting, if you're really good at a certain tank, for example, say a Panzer 5.4, you'll end up playing that match. And if you do well, let's say you get an MVP in that match, you're going to do more and score more than if you did in a tier 8, scoring an MVP in an 8 match. There's really no difference. They all count the same. There's a minor prestige factor, but at some point, I reached to the point I was like, how many MVPs do you need? How many does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. You do it or you don't. At some point, I've done enough. I'm not playing this anymore. Now, if someone's working on a contract or something, I'll go with them and run these 8s or 9s or 10s if that's what they need. That I do. Like Bernie, he drugged me along to help him because I was the best helper you could get for his sniper in a tier 8 match. I was artillery. I had an awesome sequence of running with Bernie. So if I didn't go with him, I would have missed out on a really killer run. You saw that tank. It had the mark of excellence on it. I didn't even try to get it. I was just playing artillery for artillery's sake to help our team win the game, and we won a bunch of matches. He didn't score great. Not that it was his fault. It's just that tank was underpowered. So that's the deal. So I go and help my friends with any of these tanks that I need to. I just don't go out and go, I'm going to go play tier 9 now. See you later. No, it doesn't happen. I don't do it. But I do help people if they need help. It's better to have a platoon. So it's one of those things. I do it for that reason, and that's the only reason I do it. Otherwise, I'm just playing stuff that I enjoy that's, good for me. Tier 3 or 4, and sometimes 5 or 6, just depending, whatever. So Look forward to seeing you guys again real soon, and I'll see you later.